Players who dared to challenge Zlatan. Imagine a player who breaks every mold. A 1.95-meter giant weighing a muscular 95 kilograms with an ego as vast as the universe.
When I say I am God, you think I'm joking or not?
You tell me.
I'm not joking.
During his career, Zlatan Ibrahimović constantly made headlines. He openly admitted to intentionally injuring an opponent, made some of the greatest goals ever, and was even asked by politicians to leave France. Here are 10 unbelievable moments where Zlatan showed his opponents who's boss. But one player managed to floor Zlatan. Stay tuned to find out who. First, let's start with Rubin Koša, who didn't bother asking for permission before touching Zlatan. Zlatan gave him a piercing look in response. Zlatan also seemed to have thoroughly studied the Faroe Islands before their match. During the 2014 World Cup qualifiers in Brazil, Ibrahimović and Sweden faced the Faroe Islands at home. Everything was peaceful, and the small European island nation ended the group stage with just 1 point from 10 games, finishing last. But in this match, Zlatan took his aggression to another level. He showed goalkeeper Gunnar Nilsson bringing his arm dangerously close to the opponent's face. But that wasn't all. The climax came late in the match. After numerous arguments with the referee, Ibra performed an entirely unnecessary move. He hurled the ball directly into the face of the onrushing Nilsson right in front of the referee. As if that weren't enough, he insulted his opponents, calling them a bunch of fishermen, referring to the fishing industry that forms the backbone of the tiny country's economy. Even in the MLS, Ibrahimović couldn't resist stirring up trouble. In recent years, MLS teams have successfully convinced many European top players to move to the US and enhance the competition. For many, the MLS was a place to relax and earn money, but not for Zlatan, whose ego leaves no room for relaxation. In 2017, Zlatan not only secured victory against Real Salt Lake, but he also started a feud with opponent Nedum Onuoha by pulling him to the ground, earning himself a yellow card. That wasn't the end of it. The two players clashed repeatedly throughout the game. Near to the end, Zlatan scored the winning goal and celebrated directly in Onua's face. The tension carried over to the locker room when Zlatan attempted to apologize to his opponent. However, he rejected his apology outright. Ibrahimović justified his behavior by stating, "I feel good when I get aggressive." After this scene, the Swede's aggression was palpable even through the television screen. In 2017, while playing for Manchester United, English defender Tyrone Mings stepped on Zlatan's head while he was lying on the ground. Most players would have been seriously injured and would need to be substituted for medical attention, but Zlatan isn't like most players. Still, the game didn't go well for the towering striker. He missed a penalty that could have secured the victory for his team. Frustrated and visibly angry, Zlatan didn't miss the chance to retaliate. The opportunity came during an aerial duel when Zlatan leaped high and struck Mings directly in the face with his elbow, leaving the defender writhing on the ground in pain. After the match, Zlatan was accused of acting with clear intent and was subsequently handed a 3-match suspension. His response to the allegations was, as usual, unconventional. According to Zlatan, it was Mings' fault for jumping into his elbow. A statement like this could only come from Zlatan. When Ibrahimović speaks, it often creates a stir. During his time in Paris, the Swedish star expressed an opinion that prompted the highest levels of the French government to ask him to leave the country. In a match against Bordeaux, PSG fell behind early, but Zlatan equalized shortly after. PSG continued to struggle and tensions ran high when they conceded another goal in the second half. In the 58th minute, PSG were awarded a penalty, which Zlatan converted to level the score again. 4 minutes before the end of the match, it looked like both teams would share the points, until Bordeaux struck once more, securing a dramatic win. For Zlatan, this was too much. Furious, he didn't hold back when addressing the referee. "I've played football for 15 years and never seen a referee like this in this shitty country. They don't even deserve PSG playing here in this country." The politician, Marine Le Pen, called on Zlatan to leave the country if he didn't like it. The club wasn't happy about the headlines and demanded that Ibra explain himself. The Swede claimed that he was angry in the moment and didn't intend to hurt anyone with his words. If he did, he apologized. If you want to learn Zlatan's kick, subscribe to our channel now. It would mean a lot to us since we've just started. Enough begging, let's continue. Can enemies become friends? In this case, yes. In 2015, while playing for Manchester United against Fenerbahce in the Europa League, Zlatan left his opponents stunned once again. The Mourinho-led team wasn't in top form that day, which has always infuriated Ibrahimović. During a harmless sideline clash with defender Simon Kjær, Zlatan shocked everyone. The Swede grabbed Kjær by the neck and tried to lift him up. It seems Zlatan had been watching too much Bud Spencer. Thankfully, he didn't accidentally throw Kjær around. Believe it or not, the striker didn't even get a yellow card for this stunt. The next day, Kjær called Zlatan arrogant in an interview, but he wasn't fazed, knowing how the Swede usually carried himself. However, football has its surprises. Years later, the two coincidentally played together for AC Milan, appearing to have put their differences behind them. Ibrahimović is a man of many talents, including Taekwondo. In 2010, he decided to showcase these skills against Inter defender Marco Materazzi. The rivalry between Ibrahimović and Materazzi began years earlier when Zlatan played for Juventus. In one match against Inter, Materazzi tackled him brutally and Zlatan swore revenge. Time passed and Zlatan returned to Serie A, wearing the AC Milan jersey. He had the chance to settle the score with Materazzi. Most expected a routine settling of old grievances, but it ended with a serious injury. The sheer power of the Swedish striker sent Materazzi straight to the hospital. Surprisingly, Ibrahimović only received a yellow card for this incident. Everyone agreed he should have been sent off. Years after this shocking episode, Zlatan admitted in an interview that he had intentionally kicked Materazzi, revealing a dark side within him. This wasn't his last clash with an Inter Milan player. It's no surprise that the Milan derby is often called the most intense rivalry in Italy. The derby dates back to 1908, and its fiery nature pushes players like Ibrahimović to the limit of their anger. Who could forget the infamous dispute in 2021 between Zlatan and Romelu Lukaku? The two shared a locker room at Manchester United in 2017, where they were locked in open competition. Zlatan did everything to get under Lukaku's skin, even placing a €50 wager on each decent ball touch to mock Lukaku's control. When the two faced off in the Milan derby, tension was inevitable. They clashed during the match, going head-to-head, almost literally. The confrontation lasted several minutes, with teammates eventually pulling Lukaku away. Surprisingly, both players received only yellow cards from the referee, but anyone watching could tell the argument was far from over. The Italian Football Federation later handed both Zlatan and Lukaku a one-match suspension. But things didn't always go Zlatan's way. In 2010, Ibrahimović found an equal match, not an opponent but a teammate. It happened during his time at AC Milan with towering defender Oguchi Onyewu, who stands 1.93 meters tall. It all began during a training session when Onyewu expressed dissatisfaction with a pass from Ibrahimović, sparking an argument. Zlatan escalated the situation into physical aggression, seemingly unaware that Onyewu was just as imposing as him. What followed was a physical altercation between the two, with teammates rushing in to separate them. Ultimately, Zlatan ended up on the ground, suffering 3 broken ribs. Whether it was an accident or not is unclear, but one thing is certain, Zlatan never crossed Onyewu again. One of the most shocking moments came courtesy of French international Rio Mavuba, the only player brave enough to truly floor Zlatan. The unthinkable happened. Mavuba, standing 23 centimeters shorter than Ibrahimović, managed to bring him down. It looked like a classic David versus Goliath scenario. Refusing to be disrespected, Mavuba stood his ground, stared Zlatan straight in the eyes and took him down. The scene could have escalated into an MMA fight if not for the intervention of other players. Despite the incident, the game continued and Rio Mavuba earned immense respect from the football world, possibly even a bit from Zlatan himself. After all, football isn't just about intense rivalries, but also about sportsmanship and mutual respect. How would the sport look if there were no mutual respect or boundaries? Some fans, however, take their lack of limits to dangerous extremes. In this video, you'll witness incredible moments where fans crossed the line, including one incident that tragically cost a player his life. Click now to see just how far some fans will go. See you soon!